So hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. So in this video we are going to solve one more Codeforces problem. So this is the Codeforces problem solving playlist. We are 4 problems deep now and the momentum is real. So let's do a quick recap of that. So in the first one we have seen about watermelon problem, that we have seen conditionals and modulus. After that, way too long words. In that problem we have seen about strings and character indexing. After that, the team problem. In the team problem we have seen loops, multi-value input and counting. Today we are going to solve the next problem, that is bit plus plus. So this one is going to be teach us about the string comparison and the increment decrement operations and two things that show up everything in the C++ and the competitive programming. So the problem name itself is C++ joke, and by the end of this video, so you will be fully getting why. So let's read it. So let us get into the problem, that is 282A bit plus plus. So as you can see, this is the problem statement. So they have given that this A means they have given 282A. So the A means it's the warm up problem for the round. That means it is a base level, easy level problem. So this problem is themed around a fictional programming language called a bit. So a simplified language where a variable can only do two things: increment by 1 or decrement by 1. So the operation looks exactly like C++ operators. See here, plus plus x or x plus plus or minus minus x, like that. So if you have already been watching or writing C++ in the playlist, you have already seen count plus plus and I plus plus. So this problem is actually a fun note to something you already know. So let's read the full statement and break it down. So here's the problem statement. So the classical programming language of Bitland is bit plus plus. So this language is so peculiar and complicated. So the language is a peculiar as it's exactly have one variable called x. Also there are two operations. So the operation plus plus increases the value of variable x by 1. So the operation minus minus decreases the value of variable x by 1. So the statement in the language bit plus plus is a sequence consisting of exactly one operation and one variable. So they will give a one variable, that is x. So we can do only two operations in this programming language, that is increment and decrement. I, that means the plus plus means it is increment and minus minus for decrement. So the statement written without spaces, that is it can only contain the characters plus, minus and x. So there can be only these three inputs. So executing a statement means applying operation it contains. So a program in bit plus is a sequence of statements. So each of them needs to be executed. So executing a program means executing all the statement that it contains. So you are given a program in a language bit plus plus. So the initial value of x is 0. So we have to execute the program and find the final value. So we will declare one variable called x. So after that we can do n number of operations here. That is, if n is 2 we can do 2 operations, if n is 1 we can do 1 operations. So after doing those operations, if we calculate the total value, that means increment and decrement, we have to print the final value of x as the output. So let us see here. So the input, so the first line integer n, that means the number of operations. So the next n lines each contains x plus plus or plus plus x or x minus minus or minus minus x. So in single integer, the final value of x should be look like this. For example, let me take an example, that is 5. So I have to do 5 operations. So initially my value of x is 0. So after that I have to do 5 operations. For example, I can say x plus plus or plus plus x or x minus minus. So after that x plus plus or minus minus x. Like this I will do 5 operations. So as you can see, for the first operation x value will become 1, and the second operation it is incremented by 1, it will become 2. After that it will be reduced by 1 and it is increased by 1. So x value will become 2 and it will be again reduced by 1. So the final value of x will be 1. So this is how it started. So x is 0 and x plus plus will, so let me change the value of tracing here, that is 1. So after that the x value will be again incremented and it is 2. Initially it was 0 and again the value will be reduced, so it will become 1. So after that the current value of x will become 2 after the incrementation. So in the next step we have to again decrement it. So this is the final value. So the final value of x is 1. So it is simple enough. Now how do we tell the difference between x plus plus and x minus minus in our code? So that's the key question. So let's think about it. So job is to read each operation as the string and decide whether to add 1 or subtract 1 from the x. So each operation is having exactly three characters. So x plus plus or minus minus. So character at the index is 0. The character index 0 is x. So index 1 is plus and index 2 is plus. So that time I can say there are 3 characters here. So the 0th index is x, first index is plus, second index is another plus. So in for the x minus minus, so the 0th index is x and the first index is minus and the second index is also minus. So how do we tell them apart? We have few approaches. So the first approach is we'll check the second character. So that means this character, this is the second character because it can be x plus plus or plus plus x. So if you do that, even if it is x plus plus or plus plus x, we just need to check the middle element. So if it is x minus minus, this middle value will be minus. If it is minus minus x, then also the middle value will be minus. So using that we can do, or else we can compare the entire string to plus plus x or x plus plus or minus minus x or x minus minus. So it is the same logic. So it both will work, but we will just need to check the second character of it. So that time it will be so useful and it is more readable and teaches you the string comparison in the C++. So here let me open my compiler that. So before that we will see the basic code. So I will declare one variable like this. So after declaring the variable, I will get the value of n. After getting n, I have to loop n times. After looping through it n times, we have to check the middle character, that is the second character, the index value is 1. So if it can be x plus plus or plus plus x, so that time we have to do that. So first let us check that. So if my string of the second character, that is index 1, is plus, I just add it. If it is not, I just have to subtract it. So we can simply do x minus minus here, and here it is x plus plus for the addition. So if my second character is plus, I will increment. If not plus, I will just decrement the value. So after doing the loop n times, we just have to print the value of x. So this is the pseudocode. We declare one variable x is 0 and declare one n, that means the n operations, and after getting the n operations we will loop n times and get the value. So within that we have to get the string. So string str. So after that we will get the string. After getting the string, we will check the middle character is plus. If the middle character is plus, it is incrementing. If it is not, it is decrementing. So let us set up the compiler for that. So I am using cline here. If you want, you can use any compiler. So I am going to write in a C++. So create a new file. I have already done that. So this is the basic structure of the C++ we are going to write. So basic template. So in this 4 videos, and this template should look like the home, because if you have saved it somewhere as a snippet, you are already thinking like a competitive programmer. So now let's fill in the solution. So first, as we can know that in value n. After that we have get n number of times c in n. So now we know how many operations are there. So after that I am using a while loop. So within that n minus minus. So how many times n is there, this loop will run that many times. So before that we have to declare the value of x is 0, because initially it was 0. So that we have initialized. So the problem is we have to explicitly tell the x always starts at 0. So if you don't initialize the value as 0, the C++ compiler will defaultly give a garbage value. So again always initialize. So never assume. This is one of the most important habits in C++. So after that I am using a while n minus minus. So this is a classic while loop most of the competitive programmers uses. So after that I'll get the string, that is string. So I'm using name operation, so OP. So after getting the string seen, so we have declared the string, after that we have getting the string. So now we have get the string. So after that what we have to do, we declared one string. So the OP is nothing but the short form of operation. So after that we read it in the next line into it. So the scene reads until the void spaces, it will capture the x plus plus or x minus minus as a single complete string. So this is the same string technique we have used in this previous problem. So the difference is this time we are not checking the length, we are checking the content within the string. So for that we can simply check if my operation is equals to x plus plus or operation is equals to plus plus x. We can check like this. So now we can check the entire string or we can check the first character in the string. So first let us see with this problem. So after that we can do that. So we first approach in this method, after that we will move on to the next method. So x plus plus. So if it is not incrementation, it should be decrementation. So x minus minus. So after this n time of operation is done, we have to print the value of x. So I don't want this n line, I want to use backward slash n, because this is faster compared to that, but we can also use that. So this is the most important part in this current program, that we are checking with double equals. So in C++ you can compare two strings directly using the double equals operator. So just like comparing integers, we can just check operation is equals to this character. So it will return true if the string is stored in this OP is exactly equal to the string literal x plus plus. So the string line in C++ are written in double quotes. So x plus plus is a 3 character string. So x plus plus, there are 3 characters. So if my operation string is equals to x plus plus or it is equals to plus plus x. So that time I will increment x plus plus. I will increment by 1. Otherwise there are only 2 possible inputs, that is x minus 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 x. So we decrement using x minus minus. So notice that we don't even need an else if statement, we just need to check if and directly give else, because there are only, it is like a binary structure. The only possible way is increment. If it is not incrementing, it will be decrement. So that's why we don't need else if, we directly use else here. So the x plus plus will add 1 to the x and x minus minus will subtract 1 from the x. So you have seen this operator used on the loop counters. Now you see them used as the actual logic of the problem, that is the full circle. So now the printing line. So after all n operations are processed, we print the final value of x. So one output line outside the loop, just like the team problem. So now let us go to the problem and copy the test case and paste it after running it. So now we should get the output 0. So 0 is getting. So let us check here. So let us run here. So now we are incremented. So that is 1. So let us see the alternate approach, that is if we don't need to check the whole string, instead of that, if my string of this middle character is equals to the character plus. So if the middle character is plus, I will increment. So if not, I will decrement. So the OP of 1 access the second character of the string, that is in the index 1. So for x plus plus, that character is plus, and for x plus plus x also, the middle character is plus. So for x minus minus, so the middle character is minus. So notice that the character literals use single quotes here. So while string literals use double quotes, like x plus plus we have checked in the previous method. So this is an important distinction in C++. A character should be enclosed within single quotes, that is, it should be as a single letter or a symbol. So a string is a sequence of characters and the character is a single letter or a symbol. So the both are different. So the both approaches like full string comparison and the single character check produce the exact same result. So let us check for the same output. So let us run it. So now let us paste. So we got the same output here. So let us trace the sample input one more time with our code running in our heads. So let me give the value, n value is 5 and x is 0. So now I'll give 5 operations. That is x plus plus, x plus plus, or plus plus x, x minus minus, minus minus x, and plus plus x. So we have given 5 operations. So now the loop will run 5 times. So in the first loop, the value of n will become 5. So that time while 5, so 5 is true, while 0 is false. Until then the 5 times loop will be done. So we have used the decrement, the post decrement operator. So first the value of n will become 5. So it will check, we can take the n value as 5. So while it is 5, first we have to increment by 1. So after this completion, the x value will become 1 here. So let us make it 0 and x value will become 1. So after that, again we are incrementing. So x value will become 2 here. So in this loop, it will be 4. So while 4 is true, so that time it will be executed. So it will be decremented by 1. So while 3 will be true, so that time also it will work. So we have to decrement the value by 1. So the x value will 1. So now it will become 2 here. So while 2 is true, so that time my x value will be again decremented. So it will become 0. So after it is getting 0, this value will become 1. So now while 1 is also true, so my x value will be incremented by 1. So now we got the value. So the n value will be decremented to 0. So while 0, that means 0 is false. So the loop will not run. The final value of x will become 1. So if we print it that time, it will print the value of x as 1. So let us try this, run this code, and I will give value of 5. So x plus plus, so plus plus x, after that minus minus x, x minus minus. So we have given 1, 2, 3, 4. So after that one more operation, that is plus plus x. So the value is 1. So same operation, that is I am incrementing 3 times, the value is 3. So 3 minus 2 is 1. So the output is 1 here. So let us check one more time with another input. So let me give 5. So I will give x plus plus and plus plus x. So after that again x plus plus, plus plus x and x plus plus. So I am incrementing 5 times. So it should return 5. So the output is 5. Our code is running perfectly. So let us copy all of this code and go to this problem. So you can see a submit tab here. So just click it and it will open the submitting page where the problem name will be there. So as you can see, this is the problem name. After that, the language that you have written the code in with. So there is a lot of language. In which language you are writing, just choose it. Java, Python, C. So I am using C++. So that is G++17. After that, I will paste the code. So go down. As you can see, there is a verify button here. Just click it. After it shows success, just click the submit button. So it will move on to the status page. So as you can see, it will run on every test cases. So after passing all of the test cases, it should return the output like this. If there is any error, it should return so wrong output in which test case number, like that it will show. So now it is being running on the 17th test case. So let us wait for a bit. So that's it. It is being accepted. So 4 out of 4, the streak is continuous. We have solved 4 problems continuously with no errors until now. So here's what's today's problem that is added to a toolkit. So we have checked string comparison with using double equals. So in C++, string 1 double equals string 2 works exactly as you did expect. So it returns true if both strings have identical content. So this is one of the most used operations when working with the strings in competitive programming. And single quotes versus double quotes. So single quotes is a character and any symbol, and for a double quotes it is a string. So never mix them up. So C++ both of them completely differently. So the next else shortcut is, if there are only 2 possible inputs, you just need to use if and else. There is no need for else if statements there. So it will also return the same result. So after that we have seen about increment and decrement operators. After that, reading operation strings, we have used the string indexing. So after that we have checked the value. So there is a one more challenge for you. So your challenge for today is, what if the language had a third operation like x star star? So that will double the value of x. Okay, for example, if it is x plus plus and x minus minus. So let's try to solve this one like x star star. So if it is x star star, you have to multiply the value. That means you have to double the value. So if there is any value like 3, you have to double means you have to multiply the value with 2. So that time it will become 6. So modify the solution to handle all 3 operators. So you will need an else if statement. That is the hint I can tell you. So because there are now 3 cases, not 2. So try it yourself and drop the solution in the comments. So let's see who gets it first. So and that's all for this Codeforces solution we have seen. That is, we have solved currently 4 problems. So there is 4 problems down in this playlist currently right now. So you now know conditionals, strings, loops, counters, multi-value input, string comparison and character indexing. You are genuinely building a strong foundation now. So in this next video, we will be seeing another problem added of your new skills. So if this playlist is helping you, please like, subscribe and share it with someone who wants to learn competitive programming with you. So every share helps this content reach more people. So comment below which approach did you prefer, full string comparison or single character check. So I'm curious. So see you in the next video.